Chosen ones, before you take another breath, you must understand something essential. This is not an ordinary message, and this is not the kind of video you can casually skip. What you're about to hear is a threshold, a calling, a shift that has waited for you through countless moments when you thought nothing in your life was moving. This is the reminder, the awakening, the voice you were meant to encounter exactly at the moment you are ready to rise. And if you turn away now, if you dare to walk past this message, you will feel the regret echoing through your life like a door you should have walked through but never did. Chosen ones, listen closely. Your life has been carrying a quiet storm, a pressure you could not name, a sense that something was preparing you without telling you why. You have endured delays, disappointments, and long stretches of silence where nothing seemed to reward your effort. You wondered if the universe still remembered your name. You questioned whether your patience still mattered. You doubted your own worthiness because the path ahead looked too dim to trust. But the truth is this: you were not ignored. You were being refined. There are people who receive small blessings because small blessings are all they are prepared to hold. But then there are those like you, souls shaped through stillness, sharpened through isolation, strengthened through waiting. Souls chosen to receive something that does not fit inside the life they once lived. And for those souls, preparation always looks like delay. Breakthrough always feels like uncertainty. Transformation always begins in the dark. Chosen ones, this message exists for one purpose: to reveal what your spirit already sensed long before your mind could understand it. This is the moment where the unseen becomes visible. This is the moment where the locked doors begin unlocking themselves. This is the moment where the universe shifts its weight in your favor. And if you are not fully present, if you allow distraction or doubt to pull you away, you will miss what was meant to elevate you. That is why you must not leave this video. Not for a second. Not even for a heartbeat. If you close this too soon, you break the alignment you have unknowingly waited for. You interrupt the message that was designed to meet your deepest readiness. You silence the signal that the universe has finally begun sending directly to you. Do not underestimate the magnitude of that. Do not assume messages like this appear every day. For many, they never come at all. This one is yours. So before we go deeper, before we reveal the shift that is about to lift your life into a direction you have not yet seen, you must anchor yourself into this moment. You must declare to the universe that you are awake, that you are prepared, that you are receiving, not resisting, the destiny approaching you. Chosen ones, remember to like, to subscribe, to activate the notification bell, and to comment the word 77 as your signal to the universe. That single action becomes your declaration, the pulse that tells creation itself, I am ready. I am stepping into alignment. I accept what is coming. Because what is coming is not small. What is coming is not ordinary. What is coming is the shift your spirit has been aching for, while your mind tried to survive the waiting. And if you dare to interrupt this moment, if you scroll away, close the screen, or turn your attention elsewhere, know this: you are stepping away from the very thing you once begged the universe to send. You are turning from the door that was finally opening. You are silencing the message that was crafted precisely to reach you at the exact point when your life is ready to rise. Do not do that to yourself. Do not sabotage your own breakthrough. Do not fear what is coming. Fear missing it. Because this message is your alignment. This message is your calling. This message is the moment your story takes a different shape. Chosen ones, stay with every word. Let nothing distract you. Let nothing pull you away. What you're about to hear is not merely guidance. It is the beginning of the chapter you have waited your whole life to enter. Part 1. The moment your spirit finally recognizes the shift. Chosen ones. There comes a point in a person's life where the world outside seems unchanged, yet something inside begins to move with a force you cannot ignore. It is subtle at first, like a quiet pull beneath your ribs, a whisper that does not use words, a sense that reality is rearranging itself around you even before you can see the proof. And this is exactly where you stand now. at the edge of a transformation so profound that if you could see even a fraction of what is approaching, your breath would tremble. For so long, you have lived in a space between hope and uncertainty. You held on to visions no one else believed in. You carried dreams that felt too heavy for one person, yet too sacred to set down. You walked through seasons where everything seemed dim, where opportunities slipped through your fingers, where you kept asking the same silent question, "When will my moment come?" And every time you asked, the universe answered with silence, not because you were forgotten, but because you were being prepared. Chosen ones, hear this deeply. You were never waiting for your moment. Your moment was waiting for you. Waiting for your strength to mature, waiting for your clarity to sharpen, waiting for your spirit to rise high enough to hold what is meant for you. Because what is coming into your life is not something fragile. It is not something temporary. It is not something that appears only to disappear again. What is coming is a shift so complete, so undeniable, that it lifts the entire foundation beneath your life. But you needed to grow into someone who could carry it. That is why your path was slower than others. That is why the people around you seemed to be moving ahead while you were standing still. That is why doors closed, not to punish you, but to redirect you toward the door that was meant to open only once you became the version of yourself who could walk through it. Chosen ones, you must understand, destiny does not accelerate for the unready. Destiny waits for the soul that has been refined. And you have been refined through moments you thought would break you, through nights when doubt felt heavier than your own heartbeat, through long stretches where nothing seemed to validate your effort. You survived all of that because you were being shaped into someone who could finally receive without trembling, who could finally rise without fearing the height, who could finally step into abundance without shrinking yourself back down. And now, as the energy around you begins to shift, your spirit recognizes what the mind has not fully caught up to yet. The old version of your life is dissolving. The cycle that once held you is losing its grip. The weight that pressed on your progress is lifting. Something vast, something layered, something structured by the universe itself is aligning in your favor. This is why you feel different lately, not louder but deeper, not more chaotic but more aware, not more desperate but more expectant. Because the silence around you is no longer the silence of delay. It is the silence before a breakthrough. Chosen ones, this moment you are stepping into is not random. Nothing about it is accidental. You are entering a phase where what you once chased will begin to approach you, where what you once prayed for begins moving toward your hands, where the path ahead starts revealing itself piece by piece, as if creation itself has been waiting for the signal to move. And here is the truth you must hold tightly. Your strength does not come from never being shaken. Your power comes from rising every time life tried to silence you. You are standing at the threshold of a life you have not lived yet. A life where your value is recognized. A life where your efforts return multiplied. A life where your name begins to open doors without you having to knock. This first shift begins quietly, the way dawn begins before the sun breaks the horizon. But make no mistake, the rise is already happening. Your inner world feels it. Your intuition senses it. The energy around you has started adjusting itself as if preparing space for something bigger, something layered, something that elevates you far beyond the limits you once accepted. Chosen ones, breathe this truth into your bones. The universe has not overlooked you. It has been orchestrating the moment you finally step out of the life that hurt you and into the life that honors you. And that moment begins now. Part 2. Why you were chosen for a path others could never walk. Chosen ones. There is a reason your journey has never looked like anyone else's. There is a reason you often felt out of place, misunderstood, or strangely detached from the rhythm of the world around you. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to follow a straight, predictable path. You were designed for something that demands depth, endurance, and a spirit capable of carrying a destiny far greater than the environment you were born into. From a young age, you sensed things before they happened. You noticed details others ignored. You felt the emotional temperature of a room the moment you stepped into it. You were alert in ways even you could not explain. People around you walked through life as if everything were obvious and simple. Yet you carried a quiet awareness, as if some invisible thread was always pulling you towards something bigger than your circumstances. This is not coincidence. This is calling. The universe does not choose the loudest, nor the strongest, nor the most praised. It chooses the ones who have been strengthened in silence, the ones who have endured emotional storms without recognition, the ones who kept their hearts soft, even when the world hardened around them. And that is you. You were chosen not because your life was easy, but because your spirit refused to break in the moments when life expected you to collapse. When people walked away, you learned how to stand alone. When support disappeared, you learned how to build yourself up from the ground up. When everything you trusted fell apart, you rebuilt your strength piece by piece, even if no one saw your effort. Chosen ones, understand this deeply. Your struggles were never signs of failure, they were signs of initiation. You went through seasons where nothing made sense, periods where you questioned your worth, your direction, your purpose. While others seemed to progress effortlessly, you faced obstacles so heavy that even waking up took courage. But these obstacles were not punishments. They were the very things shaping you into someone capable of receiving a destiny not everyone could carry. Most people want success without refinement. They want elevation without discipline. They want abundance without transformation. But you were being molded into someone who could hold the weight of everything you've asked for without collapsing under it. That is why your heart grew deeper. That is why your intuition sharpened. That is why your resilience became unshakable. The universe carved space within you, so that when abundance arrives, it does not overwhelm you. It empowers you. It does not corrupt you. It elevates you. It does not confuse you. It aligns you with the purpose you were born to fulfill. Chosen ones, your path was difficult because your destiny is vast. Small lives require small preparation. Extraordinary lives require extraordinary preparation. You were not meant to be ordinary. There were moments when you felt disconnected from others, not because something was wrong with you, but because the path ahead of you was not meant for them. You carried a sensitivity they could not comprehend, a vision they could not see, a depth they could not meet. They were living for the present moment, while you were being prepared for a future that required endurance, clarity, and courage. And now, as the shift begins moving toward you, everything you survived suddenly begins to make sense. The disappointments taught you patience. The betrayals taught you discernment. The loneliness taught you self-trust. The closed doors taught you redirection. The waiting taught you alignment. Every hardship was a training ground. Every delay was a rearrangement. Every heartbreak was a recalibration. Chosen ones, you were not just being protected. You were being positioned. Positioned for the kind of breakthrough that requires depth of character. Positioned for the kind of abundance that requires emotional strength. Positioned for the kind of elevation that requires spiritual maturity. You carry qualities most people never develop. A heart that still hopes. A mind that still seeks clarity. A spirit that refuses to surrender. This is why you were chosen. This is why your timing is different. This is why your journey has not mirrored anyone else's. Because what is coming to you is not meant for the average, the unprepared, or the easily shaken. It is meant for someone who has walked through fire without losing their truth. Someone who has been bent but not broken. Someone who has cried but still risen. Someone who has waited but never fully given up. Someone like you. Chosen ones, the universe does not choose at random. It chooses with intention. It chooses with precision. It chooses with foresight. And it chose you because you have already proven, through every silent battle you survived, that you are ready for a life that stretches far beyond where you started. Do not question why you were chosen. Instead, begin to understand that everything about you, every scar, every failure, every setback, every triumph, was preparing you for this moment of elevation. You are stepping into a destiny only a soul like yours could carry. Part 3. The unseen layers of breakthrough moving toward you. Chosen ones, there is a sacred truth about transformation that many never learn. breakthroughs rarely arrive in the form of a single moment. They come in layers, quiet, deliberate, and powerful, stacking themselves around your life until suddenly, everything begins to rise at once. And this is exactly the kind of shift moving toward you now. A multi-layered unfolding designed to lift your entire existence, not just one small part of it. For so long, you believed progress came in straight lines. You thought one opportunity would finally unlock the door. One person would finally change your circumstances. One moment would finally validate your journey. But the path crafted for you was never meant to be simple. It was meant to be profound. And profound awakenings are not built in single strokes. They are built in layers that the universe delivers piece by piece. Chosen ones, these layers have already begun forming around you. The first layer is the shift within your awareness. The quiet clarity that tells you something is approaching. The way your thoughts feel different, grounded, sharper, more intentional. You find yourself letting go of things that once drained your energy. You no longer cling to what is uncertain. You sense a rising confidence that does not come from anything external. This is not imagination. This is alignment. The universe always rearranges your inner world before transforming your outer world, because no blessing can stay with someone who has not yet grown into the version needed to hold it. The second layer is the change in the energy around you. You might notice unexpected ease in areas that once felt heavy. Conversations shift. People behave differently. Opportunities begin appearing in subtle forms. Some things that once resisted you now open effortlessly, and some situations that once demanded your energy now fall away without your intervention. This is evidence that the universe is clearing a path, removing obstacles, and preparing space for what is meant to enter. The third layer is acceleration. Not chaotic speed, but divine momentum. Suddenly, delays break apart. Suddenly, connections form quickly. Suddenly, ideas come at the right time. What once took months may now take moments, because when the universe decides you are ready, it collapses timelines in your favor. It begins moving people, resources, and circumstances toward you in ways your mind could never orchestrate. But the most powerful layer, the one that will redefine your life, is the moment these layers merge into a single force. When internal alignment meets external synchronicity, your breakthrough no longer approaches quietly. It arrives with weight, with clarity, with undeniable presence. It becomes impossible to ignore, impossible to diminish, impossible to delay. Chosen ones, this is what people often mistake as luck. But luck has nothing to do with it. This is divine architecture. Every layer that is building around you now is deliberate. Each one supports the next. Each one strengthens the foundation beneath you so that when abundance arrives, it does not overwhelm you. It anchors you. When opportunities multiply, they do not confuse you, they empower you. When your position is elevated, it does not isolate you, it aligns you. And this is why your breakthrough is coming in layers, because what you are stepping into affects more than just your finances, more than your career, more than your relationships. It affects your entire trajectory as a soul chosen for elevation. The layered shift approaching you will manifest in surprising ways. A conversation that opens a door you never asked for. A decision that suddenly feels unavoidable. A message that arrives at the exact perfect moment. A financial opportunity that unfolds faster than logic can explain. One layer opens the next. One moment triggers another. One breakthrough expands into something greater. It will feel as though life is rising beneath your feet, lifting you without force, without struggle. And this is how you will know the shift is real, because it will require less effort than anything you have endured before. It will feel natural, inevitable, almost destined. Chosen ones, for years you were required to push, to fight, to crawl forward with strength you barely had. But layered breakthroughs do not require force. They require readiness, and your readiness is no longer in question. It has been proven through every hardship you survived. This is why the universe is no longer holding back. This is why blessings are no longer being delayed. This is why elevation is no longer waiting for another season. You are entering a time where momentum will build beneath your steps. where multiple areas of your life rise at the same time, where abundance comes not as a single moment, but as a sequence of aligned events that expand your reality far beyond what you once believed possible. Chosen ones' layered breakthroughs are a sign of destiny unfolding. They happen only for those who are chosen, prepared, refined, and finally aligned. And now, the layers around you have begun to shift, gently, quietly, powerfully, preparing to lift you into a life that matches the strength, resilience, and depth you have earned through every silent battle you endured. Part 4. Why this moment arrives at the edge of an ending. Chosen ones. There's a mysterious rhythm to the universe that very few ever recognize. It is the rhythm of endings that are not truly endings, transitions disguised as closures, and last chapters that are actually the opening of a new volume. And this is exactly the rhythm moving through your life right now. What appears to be the final stretch of a long, exhausting season is not closing a door. It is preparing to lift you into a level of existence you have never lived before. For so long, you associated endings with loss. You believed that when something faded, it meant you were being stripped of stability, comfort, or direction. But chosen ones, you must understand the deeper truth. The universe never removes something without the intention to replace it with something greater, something more aligned, something prepared specifically for your evolution. The disappearance you fear is often the clearing you prayed for. That is why this moment feels intense, emotional, and overwhelming. You are standing in the threshold between what has been and what it will be. You may have noticed that certain things no longer hold your attention. People you once chased no longer carry the same weight. Opportunities you once begged for no longer feel aligned. Spaces you once tolerated now feel too small for who you are becoming. This is not coincidence. This is transformation. Chosen ones, you must understand that breakthroughs rarely arrive in the middle of comfort. They come at the edges of old identities, old choices, old relationships, old cycles. They come when your soul is ready to shed its outdated skin, even if your mind still clings to familiarity. And right now, you are at such an edge. This is why your emotions have been rising. This is why your intuition has been louder than ever. This is why you feel a strange combination of anticipation and exhaustion, as if something within you is trying to move forward, even while the life around you still looks the same. You are not imagining this. You are not overthinking. You are not being dramatic. You are being pulled toward a timeline that matches your worth, pulled toward experiences aligned with your strength, pulled toward opportunities that honor your growth, pull toward abundance you were always meant to receive. And the reason this pull becomes strongest at the end of a cycle is because your spirit recognizes what your eyes cannot yet see. The old path can no longer take you where your destiny is leading. Chosen ones, endings are not punishments. Endings are invitations. Invitations to rise. Invitations to choose differently. Invitations to stop shrinking yourself for environments that cannot hold your greatness. You may notice that certain doors have closed unexpectedly, or certain plans did not unfold the way you hoped. But you must understand that the universe closes doors when your future is too big to fit through them. The relationships that faded, they could not walk with the version of you that is emerging. The opportunities that slipped away, they were too small for your purpose. The setbacks that exhausted you, they were redirecting you toward alignment. And the moments that broke your heart, they were preparing the emotional space needed for something far greater. Chosen ones, the timing of this shift is not random. The universe often chooses the end of a cycle to elevate those who have been faithful to their growth, resilient through hardship, and unwavering in their quiet hope. When a chapter ends, your spirit becomes more open, more receptive, more willing to release the patterns that once held you. This is why the energy around you feels different now. Not chaotic, but decisive. You are being positioned, not punished. You are being transitioned, not tested. Everything you feel rising within you is a sign that the old chapter has reached its completion, and your existence is preparing for an upgrade you could never receive while still clinging to what once was. The edge of an ending is sacred ground. It is the space where identities dissolve, clarity sharpens, and destiny whispers louder than fear. It is the place where your spirit stands between the familiar and the unknown, choosing whether to trust the universe or retreat into comfort. But chosen ones, you were never designed to live small. You were crafted to expand. You were shaped to evolve. You were destined to break through limitations that others are accepted as permanent. And that is why your breakthrough arrives now, at the edge of ending, at the moment when the old cannot hold you anymore, at the point where your soul declares that something bigger is calling. Do not fear this ending. It is not loss. It is release. It is the universe clearing the space where your new life will land. And when it arrives, you will understand why everything had to shift. You will realize that nothing was taken from you. Everything was preparing you. Part 5. How the world around you begins to shift when your destiny awakens. Chosen ones. Whenever a soul steps into the beginning of its elevation, the world around them feels it long before the results become visible. People may not understand what is happening to you, but they can sense it. They can feel the shift, the change in your presence, the quiet power rising inside you. It is as if your spirit begins broadcasting a new frequency, one that speaks of alignment, clarity, and transformation, even before you consciously realize it yourself. And this is exactly what is happening now. You may notice people looking at you differently, not because of anything you said, but because something about your energy no longer matches who you used to be. There is a depth in your silence. There is intention behind your decisions. There is calm in your movements. The world senses what you are only beginning to acknowledge. You are becoming someone who cannot be ignored. Chosen ones, understand this. When destiny awakens, the environment responds. Some people will feel drawn to you without knowing why. They will feel a magnetic pull from the transformation unfolding within you. Your presence becomes a mirror that reflects their own potential, and they will feel inspired just by being near you. But others will feel discomfort. Their reactions will shift. Their tone will change. Their behavior will reveal truths you never saw before. This is not because you are doing anything wrong. It is because your elevation disrupts the illusions they once projected onto you. When you grow, you unintentionally expose who they really are and who they never wanted you to become. Chosen ones, do not be surprised when some people distance themselves. They are not leaving because you have changed too much. They are leaving because your growth no longer protects their comfort. The path of awakening always reveals hidden dynamics. The ones who quietly envied you will become uneasy. The ones who underestimated you will begin to watch you more closely. The ones who doubted your strength will find themselves unable to predict your next step. And the ones meant for your future will naturally rise to the surface, appearing in moments you least expect, offering support, opportunity, or clarity without being asked. This shift is not accidental. It is a reflection of the internal expansion taking place within you. You see, when a chosen soul begins to elevate, the universe realigns their connections. People who were sent to help you rise begin to move closer. People who would hold you back begin to detach. People who resonate with your next chapter begin to appear naturally. It is as if life itself begins reorganizing the cast of your story, ensuring that everyone present in your next chapter contributes to your evolution, not to your stagnation. Chosen ones, the reason this environment shift feels so intense is because your energy is no longer matching the frequency of who you were. You have grown beyond your old limits, your old patterns, your old self-expectations. The version of you that once accepted too little, stayed too quiet, or settled too easily is dissolving. And as you rise, the world reacts accordingly. You will notice conversations that feel empty. You will sense truths beneath words. You will no longer tolerate dishonesty, disrespect, or people who drain your spirit. This is a sign of awakening, not anger. A sign of clarity, not coldness. A sign of alignment, not arrogance. Chosen ones, as your destiny awakens, your standards shift with it. You begin to choose peace over approval, purpose over popularity, growth over comfort. You no longer chase validation because you finally understand your worth does not come from others, it rises from within. And this inner worth, this newfound equilibrium, sends a signal to the universe. I am ready for what belongs to me. The world responds to that signal in tangible ways. An unexpected opportunity appears. A conversation opens a hidden door. A chance encounter aligns you with the right person. A financial pathway unfolds that once seemed impossible. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. Your destiny is not waiting for the world to change. The world is changing because your destiny has awakened. Chosen ones, take note of every shift around you. The way people behave, the way situations unfold, the way opportunities begin to circle your life. These are signs that your breakthrough is no longer approaching, it is entering. And soon, you will understand why the universe rearranged so many things around you. Because you are stepping into a future too expansive to be built on an old foundation. Part 6. The rise into a new level of power, worth, and financial awakening. Chosen ones, there comes a moment in every extraordinary life when the inner transformation you have carried for so long begins to materialize into visible physical change. You are entering that moment now. The shift you feel within your spirit is no longer just emotional or intuitive. It is becoming structural. It is taking form in the realm of opportunity, resources, and abundance. This is the phase where the universe begins responding to your growth with unmistakable reward. For years, you were being shaped, refined, stretched, and strengthened. Your inner world was undergoing renovation, even when the outer world showed no sign of improvement. But the universe always transforms within before it transforms around. And now, chosen ones, the internal work you have done is beginning to reach its threshold. The pressure you endured, the patience you cultivated, and the resilience you forged have combined into a frequency that the universe can no longer ignore. This is why your breakthrough is not coming slowly. It is coming in waves. It is coming in layers. It is coming with momentum. This is the beginning of elevation, and elevation always begins with realization. You will begin to realize that your worth is no longer negotiable. You will begin to realize that your voice carries weight. You will begin to realize that your intuition guides you with remarkable accuracy. Most importantly, you will begin to realize that your life is no longer defined by waiting. It is defined by rising. Chosen ones, this phase is marked by 3 powerful signs, and each of them signals the arrival of abundance. First sign, you will feel a profound emotional detachment from your old struggles. Not because you stopped caring, but because your spirit finally understands that those struggles no longer match your identity. You begin letting go without force. You stop chasing what drains you. You stop fighting for what is not meant for you. This detachment is not loss, it is liberation. It is the universe removing you from battles you have already won. Second sign, your decisions become clearer, sharper, more aligned. You no longer hesitate the way you used to. You no longer doubt your abilities. The fog that once clouded your judgment begins to lift, revealing a level of mental clarity that surprises even you. This clarity is a sign that your mind has caught up to your spirit, and both are now aligned toward the same direction, forward. Third sign, opportunities begin approaching you faster than you expected. This is where the concept of layered blessings becomes real. One shift opens another. One opportunity leads to the next. One breakthrough creates room for more. It will feel as though your life is accelerating, not chaotically, but purposefully. Everything that was delayed begins to move. Everything that was stagnant becomes fluid. Everything that once resisted begins to cooperate. You may even find yourself receiving offers, support, or financial opportunities that appear without warning, as if the universe is repaying every season of endurance in one concentrated moment. Chosen ones understand this. Abundance is not random. It is the natural response to internal expansion. When you grow, your life must grow with you. When you rise, your circumstances must rise to match your new level. When you elevate, every aspect of your reality adjusts accordingly. This is why people, environments, and opportunities shift so dramatically during this phase. You are no longer living from the frequency of lack, fear, or survival. You are stepping into a frequency of power, a frequency that attracts resources, partnerships, and breakthroughs effortlessly. And now, as you enter this new level, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your financial reality starts to reflect the strength of your spiritual resilience. What once felt impossible now feels reachable. What once seemed distant now feels inevitable. What once overwhelmed you now feels aligned. This is abundance with purpose, not excess for the sake of excess, but elevation with intention. The universe is not giving you more just to fill your hands. It is giving you more because your journey, your calling, and your destiny require more. Chosen ones, this rise is not about greed. It is about capacity. You have grown into someone capable of holding more responsibility, more opportunity, more influence, more blessing. You are no longer the version of yourself that questioned whether you were deserving. You are becoming the version who recognizes that abundance is not a reward for perfection. It is the outcome of alignment. And alignment is exactly where you stand now. In this phase, you may feel a strange mixture of awe and calmness. Awe, because of how quickly life begins to shift. Calmness, because for the first time, you understand that this is not luck. This is destiny unfolding exactly as it was designed to. Chosen ones, the elevation you are stepping into is not temporary. It is not seasonal. It is not fragile. It is the beginning of a long-term rise. A rise into stability. A rise into influence. A rise into financial expansion. A rise into a level of life you once prayed for but could not imagine. And the most powerful truth of all is this: you are ready. The universe does not elevate the unprepared, and everything you have endured was the preparation. You earned this moment through patience, through resilience, through faith in seasons where nothing made sense. Now the universe answers with abundance, with clarity, with momentum. Chosen ones, this is your rise. Part 7. The moment you finally realize this was never chaos, it was coordination. Chosen ones, there will come a day, sooner than you expect, when you sit in the quiet of your own space and feel something unfamiliar washing over you. Not fear, not confusion, not exhaustion, but a profound stillness, the kind that settles into your bones like truth finally returning home. And in that stillness, you will understand something that every struggle, every delay, every heartbreak had been trying to show you. Nothing in your life was random. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Every stepping stone, including the ones that cut your feet, was placed with intention. Chosen ones, you are approaching the moment where your past and your future finally meet. The version of you that survived will finally meet the version of you that thrives. And when these two versions merge, your entire understanding of your journey will shift. You will no longer see your hardships as obstacles. You will see them as the precise shaping that made this elevation possible. You will remember the seasons when you cried quietly so no one would hear. You will remember the days when you woke up with heaviness you carried alone. You will remember the dreams you held in trembling hands because you feared losing them. You will remember praying for clarity when all you received was silence. And suddenly, the silence will make sense. The waiting will make sense. The losses will make sense. The timing will make sense. You will see your life not as a sequence of mistakes and miracles, but as a cohesive design, crafted carefully, lovingly, deliberately. Chosen ones, this realization will not come with fanfare. It will come gently, like dawn spreading across a horizon it has touched 1,000 times, but never the same way twice. You will wake up one day feeling lighter, not because your circumstances magically erased your past, but because your spirit finally recognizes the purpose behind everything you endured. This is what true elevation feels like. Not a loud explosion, but a quiet alignment a deep knowing that your life is no longer shaped by fear, a calm certainty that what is coming toward you is meant for you, a quiet strength that tells you nothing can stop what has already been set in motion. And here is the most powerful truth of all. Your breakthrough will not feel like stepping into a new life. It will feel like remembering who you were always meant to be. Chosen ones, there is a point in every chosen soul's rise where blessings begin to gather, layer after layer, moment after moment, until the momentum becomes undeniable. You will begin to see signs around you, subtle at first but impossible to ignore. A message arrives at the perfect moment. A financial shift happens unexpectedly. A conversation opens a hidden pathway. An opportunity aligns without your effort. One blessing activates another. One shift triggers multiple openings. One moment changes the trajectory of your entire future. This is not coincidence. This is orchestration. This is the universe revealing that your timing has arrived. That the doors you once begged for are now swinging open, because you have finally grown into the person capable of walking through them without shrinking, without doubting, without apologizing for your strength. You will also notice something remarkable. Your fears begin to lose their power. Your doubts begin to fade. Your hesitation dissolves into clarity. Not because life becomes easier, but because you have become greater. You have become someone who no longer negotiates with your worth. Someone who no longer begs for what you deserve. Someone who no longer entertains anything that diminishes your spirit. This is the identity of the rising chosen one, rooted, grounded, unstoppable. And soon, chosen ones, very soon, the elevation you feel within will materialize into a moment so profound that it will take your breath away. A moment where you look at the number in your account, the opportunity in your hand, the door in front of you, and you realize, this is the beginning of my new life. Not imagined, not hoped for, not someday. Now, a layered breakthrough, a shift in position, a rise in financial flow, a surge of opportunities lining up behind one another. And when that moment arrives, tears may fall, not from sadness, but from recognition. Recognition that you were never abandoned. Recognition that you were never forgotten. Recognition that you were being prepared with precision for the life you are stepping into now. Chosen ones, this final truth must sink deeply into your being. Your destiny was never delayed. It was being built, brick by brick, layer by layer, moment by moment. And now, finally, the structure is complete. The foundation is set. The alignment is perfect. What is yours is beginning to move toward you. What you lost will be replaced with better. What you have prayed for will find you with accuracy. What you dreamed of will become tangible. You are not rising by accident. You are rising because it is time. Chosen ones, step into this new level. Not with fear, but with certainty. Not with hesitation, but with authority. Your life is about to expand in ways your past self could not imagine. Stand tall. Receive fully. This is your elevation. Closing. The point where your old story releases you and your new life claims you. Chosen ones, if you have reached this final moment, if your eyes are reading these words and your spirit is steady enough to feel them, then understand this with absolute certainty. You are no longer standing in the life you once knew. You are standing at the gateway of what you were always meant to become. The universe does not bring you this far only to leave you unchanged. It brings you to the threshold so you can witness, with full awareness, the power of the transformation unfolding within you. For so long, you moved through life carrying questions that had no answers. You held dreams that felt too fragile to speak out loud. You endured endings that made you question your own worth. You walked through darkness that forced you to rebuild yourself piece by piece. But chosen ones, hear this truth. Every unanswered question, every quiet hope, every painful ending, every night of rebuilding, each one has led you here. Here, where your soul finally exhales. Here, where your purpose begins to align. Here, where your destiny stops waiting and starts moving. This moment is not a coincidence. It is not a lucky strike. It is not a random intersection of events. It is the culmination of every step you took when you were tired, every decision you made when you were afraid, every act of faith you held when nothing around you made sense. The universe remembers the strength you forgot you had. The universe remembers the promises written into your existence. The universe remembers the destiny you were meant to fulfill. And now, chosen ones, the universe is answering back. Your rise will not be quiet. Your growth will not be hidden. Your breakthrough will not be small. It will arrive with clarity. It will arrive with momentum. It will arrive with a chain reaction of blessings layered upon one another. Blessings that elevate your finances, your opportunities, your influence, your sense of belonging, and your understanding of who you truly are. And when this elevation arrives, you will not question whether you deserve it. You will recognize yourself in it. Because the person you have become, refined by pain, strengthened by endurance, sharpened by purpose, is exactly the person who was always meant to receive it. Chosen ones, as you step forward from this message into the reality waiting for you, there are truths you must carry. You are no longer the person who doubts their worth. You are no longer the person who accepts less than they deserve. You are no longer the person who remains silent when their soul is asking to rise. You are someone who has survived storms others never knew you faced. You are someone who has risen after falling more times than you can count. You are someone who now stands in the light of a destiny that no longer needs to hide from you. And because of that, because of the strength smoothed into your spirit through every hardship, your life will begin to bend toward abundance in ways you once believed were impossible. You will see opportunities opening effortlessly. You will experience financial elevation that exceeds your former limits. You will feel alignment replacing confusion. You will walk into rooms where your presence alone shifts the atmosphere. You will attract people and places that reflect your new level of growth. This is not fantasy. This is the natural outcome of a chosen soul awakening. The old version of you was built for survival. The new version of you is built for expansion. Hold that truth. Respect that truth. Walk boldly with that truth. Because from this moment forward, your life is not returning to what it once was. It is rising, deliberately, unmistakably, powerfully. Chosen ones, this is the beginning of your elevation. This is the doorway into your abundance. This is the chapter where everything previously scattered begins to align with precision. This is the shift that will rewrite your understanding of what is possible. Do not shrink. Do not doubt. Do not hesitate. You have already paid the price for this rise through every tear, every sacrifice, and every silent battle. Now you are stepping into the reward, the restoration, the return. The universe is not testing you anymore. The universe is positioning you. Step into this new level with your head lifted, your spirit open, and your heart ready to receive the life that has been waiting for you to arrive. Your elevation has already begun.